Welcome to the business show. We have the lovely ladies on the settee today. I'm all scruffy because I'm going through this charity thing, so I had to bring on some lovely assets so the show won't look bad today. So we have Hardcore White with us today, Latoya and Kirsty. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
No, it's great to have you here, and also, if I might say, lovely to have you as now official sponsors. In both locations. So we'll get some more social media out of that in a little bit. So you started Hardcore White yourself, Latoya, back in, was it 2012?
Yeah, 2012. Just I've got my notes here if anyone's wondering what this is, just so I don't waffle. So it's just so I'm prepared. So I started in 2012, sort of when I started buying myself, and just wanting the properties managed properly, and I wanted systems and procedures in place, and I wanted it done my way. Yeah. So I want it done in a particular way.
I'm sure you don't mind me saying you're a little bit of a control freak.
Yes, yeah? I am. Yeah, I like everything done well and properly.
But if I have a property that I'm trusting someone to manage for me, I think I'd like someone to be in control. So that's
that's what we do. We do it in the way that we want it done, and I think that's the best way to do it. You get that from having your own properties. You want things done in a particular way, and that doesn't mean that we're not willing to adapt. But certain things have to be done in a certain way.
And when did you join the team? We'll explain a little bit how the team works.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I started in February last year, so 2018. Okay. So, but it's building up gradually and nicely. So
and then the third member of the team now is Richard in Newquay, isn't it?
Yeah, he is Rich.
Sorry.
He'll kill us if we call him Rich.
Okay, sorry about that. Well, I've made the faux pas, not yourself.
No. Yeah, no. It's Rich in Newquay. So he's over there, and it gives us a nice coverage.
You have three offices. So as we realised, Rich is in Newquay, and you're.
I'm based in Camborne.
Okay. And I'm in Truro.
So people that are listening in that have not seen the show before, obviously I speak differently because I'm from St. Column, and that's how they speak in Camborne.
This is how they speak in Camborne. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Cool. I used to use that one all the time. Yeah, just because I live in St. Column. So tell us, there's been lots of changes in the whole. Well, first of all, we're talking before we started about HMOs and lettings and everything else. So explain a little bit about how different members of the teams do things and a little bit about the products themselves.
Yeah. So I mostly do HMOs, which is houses of multiple occupations. So you think your student properties, that's only a small portion of what we do. We do professional house shares as well. So that's sort of my baby. That's what I cover. Okay. And you do a lot of single lets.
So I do the standard residential lets, so flats to family houses kind of thing. So
and do you because you got the different areas, do you cross over for different properties? So for example, can there be some HMOs in Kirsty's area and vice versa?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, for me, that's why I'm based in Camborne. I love Camborne. It gives me easy driver distance to my stuff that I do. Right. That's why I'm there. And same, that's why where you are. And if you look at Kirsty's portfolio she manages, it's very close to where she can drive to, and that's important to us. But it's I still have properties in Truro that I have because the HMOs are not. That's my baby. Right. But it's easy for me to drive there, so that's fine. And you've got your stuff and you've worked it to work for you.
Yeah, I've got a few where it's sort of like several properties in one area, which it's worth the drive then if it's a little bit further out.
And we talked beforehand because with the team you're all self-employed. Explain how that works a little bit.
Yeah. So that was important for the business for us to be self-employed. I think when you manage a property, you have to be invested. And make sure that it's running well, things are going good, and then you get paid. In the property industry, paying a wage is not really an incentive, to go out and rent that property. For me, you've got, when someone gives notice, you've got a month to pretty much rent it before it's costing you money. It's important to get those tasks done and to have that self-employed mentality, and we are invested in the property. If it's empty, we're poor.
Yeah, because you don't get the job.
Don't want to be poor.
You don't get the job done, nobody's
exactly.
paying you.
And I like that. I like that mentality. I like that challenge. I think it works for us.
Yeah, really well.
And I think that having that bit of like, I've got this amount of time to get something done, and then it's a win-win. Get a good tenant in there, paying great, landlord's happy, we get paid. That's how the change should work. Having this wage system, it's not something that I would want for my properties to be
Right.
managed by. I would want somebody invested that is going to feel a bit of pain
Yep.
if it's not done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the actual owner, they want to make sure A, it's being taken care of, but two, they want to make sure that you're caring as much as they are, and if you put the money in there, then obviously you're going to.
The money is important. You think I don't know how people think about landlords, but some of them have jobs, some of them don't, and just because they're making money from a property doesn't give anyone any other right to say, oh, they've got extra money. It doesn't matter if it's empty. It's very important that property is filled with the correct person paying, and that money's coming in all the time, because it's people don't realise that behind the scenes there's mortgages, there's loads to pay, and that gets paid whether it's somebody's in there or not. So it's very important that we do our job.
You said the right people in there. Kirsty, talk a little bit about, because we talked a little bit before about the referral process and how that works, because you keep it in-house.
Yeah, so with our referencing, we do that all ourselves. So we'll contact the employer and previous landlords. You kind of get a feel for people straight away when you've been doing it as long as we have. So you kind of know that. So you kind of get a feel for people straight away as to whether they're going to be good tenants, but then the referencing process is really important to make sure that that's confirmed.
And we were talking earlier as well. You've never, which is amazing, you've never actually lost a customer.
No,
so you've
never.
That's
definitely
but
not.
that's got to be that combination of you get to know your person before.
That's the relationship.
Yeah.
That's the relationship we've got with our clients. We are, we're not a numbers-driven business. When we take on a client, that's a relationship. We're working together with them. Same with the tenant as well, but especially with the landlord, that is a relationship. But it's very important to us. We're on a different level with our clients, perhaps to what you would call maybe the high street. It's not a numbers thing to us. It's a team thing for us with our landlords. But going back to our referencing, it's very referencing and credit check is very important. We would never ever outsource that ever. Like it's top priority.
They end up phoning and asking 3 questions because we've had it done to us for tenants leaving, and it's like
mortified.
2 questions and think, can you know anything?
No, you can't. No. It's got to be in-house. It's got to be done by us. So if I'm renting a property, that referencing has to be done by me. Same for your stock. It's got to be done by you.
Like I say, you get a feel for people, but if you don't confirm that, it's
How do you talk about stock? How do you decide your stock level? How much is enough? How much is too much?
So it comes back down to taking on the other team member that we've got, and also business planning. So we know to get to a certain level, then we would take on a PA. Those kind of things there. So it's about business planning and going forward, but never to have employed people managing the properties. It's got to be us, and it's got to be in a certain structure. But that doesn't mean, of course, we would take on a PA to delegate some certain office tasks to, but that the tenants are our priority and the landlords are our priority, and that has to be done in a certain way. And it can only, for me, it can only be done by us. So it's got to be structured in that way. So
that's like our friends at the Cornwall Channel. They've been through some of those, and thanks by the way for having us on today as usual. But they've been going through some of that business development situation as well, because you do have to build it at the right level, the right timing, the right everything that works for it. So it is important. And then we talked earlier before. We've talked about it at meetings before as well. All these new legislations that's come on. So talk a little bit about that and how that's affected the market, not just you.
I mean, there's always been legislation, no matter what it's been 20 years, 15, 10 years ago. There's always been legislation, but the last 2 years have been quite a lot more come into it, a lot more in depth. I think you were saying it's about 178 now, and it's a lot. It's a lot to keep on top of. And one thing in particular that's changed that perhaps people may have heard, whether they're in the property industry or not, is the tenant fee ban. Now that for us, it didn't affect us, and that's because when we were dealing with our clients and charging the fees to the tenants for referencing, which that's what we would do, it was a sensible figure. We weren't stupid about it, and we never double dipped. We never charged our landlords and our tenants. We were open and honest, and I would say this is why a lot of our landlords like us, is because they knew that when they gave us a property, we weren't charging the tenants stupid money to get in. We just priced the referencing enough for us to get the job done, to find them that they were the perfect tenant, get them in, paying. that's the top priority, not to charge high fees to tenants, high fees to it was ridiculous.
I can see why the tenant fee ban was brought in, because a lot of agents did charge 500.
But that's a big one that came in that people would have heard about.
When you say that was brought in because there was so many complaints against not saying you, obviously.
No, it needed to change. It really, it was stupid. It was, it's. And I think, from just referencing general, you do learn that, if you're talking about an average Cornish wage, it's not like London or the big cities, So you've got to be a little bit sensible about stuff. But no, it wasn't sensible, and it had to happen. So that's what's happened. And everyone's else is, having, some struggles and certain things in their businesses. But for us, it's business as normal. We've not, that's not affected us, but that's because we were sensible in the beginning. So, and that's just one difference between us and perhaps some other property businesses, is the way that we have our beliefs and the way that we structure things. What's important to us, that's why we attract landlords like us, because what's important to us is important to them as well.
Yeah, that's it. We know what they're.
Well, and of course you're landlord yourself as well. So you know exactly. Which we talked about that before as well. But I think that's so important, because then you understand exactly all the pains and joys and everything that comes with being a landlord, because there are.
The money.
The typical outside person that's never been a landlord at all will think, oh, they just sit back and rake in all the money with no problems at all. Yes.
I mean, you do have, of course, you have good times in it, but there's other times as well where, I remember when I started, and the room rental market just didn't really exist in Cornwall. And that's tough. And I've grown this business, and I've grown a brand around that. And back when I was doing it myself as well, buying, it's like that was some sleepless nights, but you had to keep just believing and trucking on and getting it done. And I had to do that for the experience as well, to then help other people that we brought on. And you've got your own portfolio as well. And
I have my share of problems as well, but it's
all rosy.
It is what it is.
Never.
I wish.
Wake up and the birds are singing every morning, and it's always sunshiny.
But it's always sunny.
But that's what has built us to where we are now. Without that knowledge and without that pain that we've both had, you can't. Without experiences, you can't help other people or advise. Even just from my own, situation with the tax side of things and all the changes on that side. Had I not had that pain, had I not gone through that, I couldn't advise or speak to other landlords and say, if you speak to this accountant and we tweak this. That's just part of going through a bit of pain.
I would imagine with all the new build in Cornwall as well. That means it's got to be, there's so much more scope for your market as well, because
definitely. And I love going into the towns and stuff and seeing not just the little shops but the big players coming in as well. I think, oh great, that's a job. I went down to Penzance yesterday just for a wander. I just love wandering around Penzance. The buildings are beautiful. And, not to talk about, a big player, but, there is one that's gone in a big hotel. And I think, oh, ideal, that is jobs. How many jobs has that brought? Oh, that's great, And then I'm walking around, there's restaurants open. I think, oh, that's great, that's jobs. And I love that. I love doing that. And seeing money being invested into the towns. It's, and part of that, you've got to provide housing as well. We've only got so much. You do need to build. You do need the developers. So some people like them, some people don't, but we do need them. We need that housing stock. It's important that we still support that.
Definitely. Are we missing anything off your control list?
Have
a gander while we talk.
No, I think that's
Well, I was going to say while she looks at that. I was going to take the time to
Kirsty a chance.
It's got to be interesting working with Latoya.
But I think we work really well together. We're chalk and cheese, but it works well.
And you two, we saw each other recently at the Baker Tom get together, which was fantastic.
That was so good.
I couldn't believe she stole all the brownies.
I know.
It was me.
I could not believe that. Those brownies were bloody good. They were so good.
Everything was good that day. Very good. We will go back there again, but the reason I say that is brought that up. I mean, what else do you do in your personal time and life, and what's your hobbies and interests?
So when we're not when we're not doing property and we're still not looking for property for other people in our spare time. No, I do CrossFit. That's my thing is CrossFit. Cool. That's what I like to do. You know, you've got to be keeping strong when you do your own debt collecting.
When we did we were away a couple months ago. The family and I, we were down in Tenerife, and the lady that was right near us from Wales, she has a whole CrossFit company. That's her company.
Oh wow! I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, I like it. I think it's very important to me and the team that when we do stuff outside, I think it's important for your health. Even on a dark, dingy night when I'm thinking, do you know what? I just want to get through this or get through that. It's important for me to take an hour out to go do CrossFit because it keeps me healthy. It keeps me energized, and I think you need that for a business. Yeah. You've got to have other stuff, and you've got things that you.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't get that anywhere else. You know, the fact that I could be self-employed and do my own hours, and I might be working till 8 o'clock one night, but if I want to go and have an hour out for running or whatever, then I can, and it's that's get that anywhere else.
That's the whole thing being self-employed. It's amazing because you talk to people in their 9 to 5 job, whatever that is.
But
it's not. I mean, I think I worked almost all this weekend, but I worked, but it didn't. Does that make sense? It makes sense. I know it makes sense because you've not really.
No, we normally split our weekends down as well, and but I think it's about having the passion for it, and right, I'm going to work until 2 o'clock on Saturday, then I'm going to bugger off and go do that, and then on Sunday I'm going to quickly prepare for that, and then I'm going to go have lunch, and doing that. And like you say, during the week, if you're like, actually I've got a couple of hours spare between 4 and 6, I'm going to go for a run, or I'm going to go do CrossFit, then I'm going to go back and do some viewings for a couple of hours, and that's the other thing that I love as well, to be able to accommodate people doing viewings in the evenings or the weekend.
People do they?
Honestly, like
you get so much praise for it.
Yeah, you get like that to us. That puts us above everyone anyway. Like being able to say, if a tenant says, "Oh, I need a viewing on a Sunday, or I need a viewing on a Tuesday night," you don't do that, do you? You go, tell us. We'll book you in.
I mean, definitely.
You've got,
it's. I don't even think about that, but that's got to be amazing. I mean, somebody's out there, I don't know, they're living in Plymouth and trying to move to Penzance, and they already work 9 to 5, those kind of jobs. Once again, you heard about those, right? Anyway, but so that when are they going to go look at the house in Penzance? It's got to be a Saturday or Sunday. Or drive down at 9
Well, we've just had that in the last few months with the doctors. We had changeover on Royal Cornwall Hospital, and those poor guys, it's not like they've got flexibility in work. When they're coming down for a viewing, that's all they've got. They have to come down and just get it done. If that really, we do try and accommodate the doctors and people like that as best we can. But it's, you've got to be, I think you've got to, if somebody's looking for a property, they might look at 3 or 4 properties. So if we can get out and we can do that viewing and get them excited about our stuff, and they're a good tenant, we can get that for our landlords and rent our property before the other people open on Monday. Great. Ideal.
Well, what I've heard so far is team of 3, all self-employed and striving to build their own independent businesses, but together. Together, which must be really, really good, because you got that support of being able to contact each other and ask the questions. And Rich is the newest member of the team, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's been in property for, he's done his property years as well. So it's very, that's one thing for me building the business. You've got to be, have your property experience, and you've got to be a landlord.
Gotcha.
I want that as part of the business. Some things you can teach people, some things you can't. So if you
can't teach experience, is what you're saying.
I think if someone's had, even if they've been a landlord and they're no longer a landlord now, at least they understand the experience of the pain and that sort of thing, which brings to this business something that no other businesses really have. Right. So to have our team built on experience plus being landlords themselves, so they understand those things and that sort of thing, that's important to us.
Yeah, definitely.
And the other thing I've heard is complete commitment to your customers. Like I was saying earlier, you have 2 customers, don't you? You've got the tenant and the landlord.
It's
difficult when they're always right, isn't it? It's difficult when the customer's always right.
But they're both right. They're both customers though.
We have a saying in the office, like, a happy tenant stays and pays, and it's so true. Like it's not really that difficult, to keep a tenant sweet, to keep them happy, and And yes, the landlord is our client, and yes, they pay us, but that tenant is a really important part of the whole side of things. So it's important that they feel like they're getting a service as well. You know, we like, you know, if they're a good tenant, we want to keep them. You know, you want to look after them, so that's important to us.
Because if they're not there, then you're not getting paid.
The last part I was going to say, which is kind of leads into it's dedication, because you're definitely all dedicated to, you know, you're building that, and you're keeping an eye on it, and you're motivated because you have to do it, because otherwise you don't get paid.
Exactly. I mean, this is our passion. It's not a job for us. This is the career. This is what we're doing. Right. It's not like we're letting a property this week and we're going to be a hairdresser next week. This is it. This is what we do. It's what we've been doing all our adult lives anyway. So and same for Rich. He's been in property for, is it 9 years?
14. I think.
So he's been in property for a long time. So and he's a landlord himself. So it's important.
So I was going to say your kind of your call to action. What do you want people to hear? Is so what do they need to do to touch base with you? Get to
So if you've got a HMO, then definitely get in touch with us, whether it's student or professional, or you're wanting to flick it from a student to a professional HMO. Or if you've got a current portfolio now and you're thinking about moving a couple over to serviced accommodation or holiday let, that's our thing from moving landlords from one bit to another. So that's what I can help with. And then you've got your
so if there's any single lets or, you know, family homes, flats, anything like that, I'm happy to help with that. And if you've already got an agent you're not too happy with, then I can help with the transfer. It doesn't really make any difference, you know, any problem for you. It's kind of just
no
get
problem
in touch with them, which could always be a bit awkward, which I think a lot of people are worried about.
I think a lot of landlords sometimes get a bit nervous. They don't. I think it's in the nice way. It's like an English thing. They're very polite. They don't want to give notice to the agent that's not doing the job that they're paying them for. It's like, no, just give them notice. All we do is we get a signature on a bit of paper. We go and we get all the paperwork, all the keys. We do everything. So they never even have to phone the agent. We just do everything. But it's important, if you're paying an agent, you get in the service. If not, got to move on, because it's got to be good for the most of our landlords are giving us portfolios as well. So you know, for them, the portfolio needs to be managed properly to run it as a business. And if that's not being done, you've got to make a change. So whether it's us or someone else, you've got to start talking to some other people and making a change. So
Well, property's not cheap. You got to make sure it's being taken care of.
Definitely. Otherwise, you get nothing out of it. You might as well sell it. So
Cool. Well, I think I'll kind of wrap up that portion in principle. Want to close with the partnership news. What's going on? Well, I think most know, but I'm a bit. What are you thinking of the scruff?
I don't think it's that scruffy. I think you got a while to go.
We're only on day 4.
Give it a few days.
We'll tell you when you're scruffy.
But this is the longest I've gone without shaving for over 18 years.
Oh,
so ridiculous! I've never gone that long. And obviously, I think most people know, but it's for Cornwall Hospice Care. Now, put my little picture on there to show a little man. So that's what it's supposed to maybe look like one day.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about that, but I don't know. But it's just, I mean, because traditionally November is Movember, which is a different thing. It's charity for men with men to check themselves for cancer and everything. But it's the whole thing of it just came up the idea of not shaving throughout the month of November, because Cornwall Hospice Care is going to be 40 years old next year. And so I'm going to use it for awareness. They need this £1,000 we're trying to raise to help fund a big event they're doing in June. So on June the 20th, I think I have the date right, they're going to have their 40-year anniversary out at the Weybridge Showgrounds. And we're going to do, now you're invited, but I know Latoya and I can knock this one out of the park. It's eating cream tea. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get at least 1,200 people to eat cream tea all at the same time to break the Guinness World Book of Records. Yeah,
we'll do that. Well, I think we're in. I think it was an easy sell for you.
Easy sell. And then because it's all about the 40-year anniversary for them, everything's going to be 40s style. So they're going to have a Company B is going to be out there singing. They got forget the other name. They got another group that's singing.
Yeah, this is cool.
And then they've got 40 vintage cars and hopefully some planes. Well, they actually, I was talking to them earlier, they got a flyby coming on, so flyover coming and everything. So yeah, it should be good. It'll be a fun day. Yeah, so good stuff. Well, just highlighting a few things coming up with the partnership this week. So this week we have out in Plymouth, we have our meeting again on Thursday, and Jade Scott is now Your Partnerships Plymouth. That's her actual business, yep. And so she's having her first open house, so we're very excited for her on that. Want to support her on Thursday with that. Before then, we've got a really, well, tomorrow morning we'll be out at Heartlands. Wednesday we're in Weybridge for the show. It's the shows because I just talked about the showground for the Wednesday meet out there at the Falcon Inn. That's what I'm trying to say. And that one starts at 9, so a lot of people like that because it's a little bit later start. Thursday, so we're playing, and Friday a bit of fun. So we'll start off in the morning with Mr. Gareth Looker's event down in Penryn and at the Norway Inn. But then on Friday afternoon we're going to go shoot each other. We're going to airsoft.
Yes, yeah.
So and I keep saying shoot each other, but you don't have to shoot each other. We go out there. Barbara from out the airsoft park, because they're partners as well, let us in. We've got, I mean, you got hand grenades, you got smoke bombs, you got, and all the weapons like military grade. I mean, it makes me feel at home. It's like the real stuff and everything. But so we're all paying £10 each, and that's to cover all the costs that Barbara wanted to do it for free. I don't mind saying, but I mean the ammunition doesn't come cheap. It's normally £40 to play, so we're just paying her back for her what she's going to use on the day. But it's just a lot of fun. We go out there, safety brief, go on the range, get used to the weapons and everything, and then those that choose, you can just do the range, that's fine. Those that choose, we split up and then go in teams and try to kill each other off. So it might be a good office. Y'all can have it.
Yeah. I'm going to end up on the ground. Just going
Churro versus a Camborne, you know.
I've never represented Camborne. Yeah, I can't let you win. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah. I know, like some of the guys from GI UK, they're coming down. They're all ex-military as well. So I'm supposed to be taking. Supposed to fight against them as well, so we'll see what happens. But there's that, and then I'll just highlight quickly going down. We've got Power Lunch next week at Bustopher Jones.
Yeah, that's us. Yeah, that's us.
I seem to be getting you all the eating things. I don't
understand. I know, we literally eat our way around Cornwall, so yeah, we enjoy those. And we've got Penventon on there as well. That's my one.
Penventon's coming up as well. Yeah, that's all good. And then the last one I'll talk about real quickly is on the 14th of this month, so a week from Thursday, is Facebook. So we have an actual Facebook trainer coming. And this is between 250 and 500 pounds worth of free training that we're getting. And it's actual, licensed Facebook trainer that's coming to do that for us. It's over in Plymouth once again, over at Boynton. But if you can make that'd be fantastic.
I think that's something that we're going to go to. So I think that's there was
100 seats total for free. I think about 65 gone. So don't waste your time. Just get in there. So anyway, but you can find it all online, and my little tin I've been taking around to. I'm sure the ladies will donate.
We will be.
Camera,
yes, definitely.
So I don't know that I'll ever be as handsome as that guy, but
he's an interesting looking character.
Interesting looking character. I could see him on a motorbike on the outbacks of New Zealand. Couldn't you?
Yeah, he would fit in. Yeah, he would fit in.
Cool. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for today, and thank you, Cornwall Channel, for having us in today.
Thank you.
They do. Magic Mike's on. Look, they've swapped now. Shane's gone. Magic Mike's on the set. So So all I can say is get a hold of Hardcore White if you have any questions. We'll put all their links on there so you find all that. And even if someone's even just considering getting in the property, just good to sit and have a chat.
I love that. That's one of my favourite things, is talking to people when they're thinking about getting into it. I like that.
You can help them choose a property.
And talk about the numbers and really get into it with them. I love that.
It's important. It's an important decision. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard little jump to make if you've never done it before.
Yeah, definitely. But I love talking to people about that stuff. Yeah, and it's an important part of it.
Yeah,
so let us know. We'll come see you in an evening and have a chat about it.
Cool. Yeah. In the evening? What, you work in evenings?
That's my time that I meet people, because I can talk. The tenants are happy. They've been fed. They're in bed. I can talk to people. It's good.
Excellent. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thank you once again, and we'll see you around. All right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Take care, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.